He said building a business is like rolling a tiny little snowball on the sunny side of the mountain, and it's melting. So you got to really get it up the hill and get it up there. But once you do have it up there and it falls, there's no stopping it how big it can get. So that's really the mentality I try to keep in mind. So I'm Maxim Kinds, 22 years old, and I'm the founder of Claropark, which is an online website that helps homeowners rent out their unused parking spot.
Very cool. Very cool. Before we dive into that, I want to know a little bit more about you. What is your story about how it is that you got to Marbella? I mean, was it recently? Was it a while ago? Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, so I moved to Spain, not particularly Marbella, when I was 8-9 years old.
Where did you move to?
I moved to Malaga.
Okay.
Particularly a town called Alaurín de la Torre, which is quite a big town, but still a small place. And I went to Spanish school there, so I learned Spanish.
Because your origins are...
I'm Dutch and Ukrainian.
Very
so
cool.
Dutch from my father's
super
side.
Trilingual.
Yeah, so It's a typical Marbella background,
Very international.
so to say. So I started off in just public school, just normal Spanish school. Really got to learn Spanish. And then at one point my family decided for me to send me to Soto, to the Sotogrande International School, which is an IB school. I went there from 15 to 18, and I really enjoyed that because it was a very different environment to a Spanish school.
I mean, were you expecting to have such a nice international option here in Malaga area, or?
Not at all, actually. I never even heard of it. It was my brother, he got sent there before me because he was a bit older. And then they recommended it to me as well. I was very happy with it because that's where I mainly learned my English. Anyways, after I finished my studies in Soto, I went to Madrid for just half a year.
Why just half a year?
Because I didn't like my degree. I did sports management. I came to realize that it wasn't really what I expected.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it as much. Madrid was just too big. Coming from Soto and Marbella, it's a very small place. I just found it too big and too much was going on. So I thought to myself, well, this degree is not really going to cut it. And I don't really like this place. So let me look around, see what I can find. Yeah. And then I stumbled upon Barcelona. And I decided to pay a visit. I knew some people there from my Soto times. Really liked the uni, really liked the city. It's a lot smaller. You have the sea, which, if you live here your whole life, you really need the sea.
You appreciate it. You miss it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's it. And I was like, okay, well, business management sounds quite interesting. So I decided to study that. Did that for 3 years, finished. And during my time there, that's actually when I, decided to come up with the idea of Claropark.
I mean, going to that, I know you told me a bit about it briefly. Claropark came from a very personal frustration. Do you mind sharing that story with us?
Not at all. Yeah, so when I decided to go study in Barcelona, I thought, well, it isn't that far. And personally, I had a car. So I thought, well, I can take a lot more stuff rather than taking the train or plane. So I rented an apartment in Barcelona, arrived in my car, and obviously you need to park your car somewhere.
And it came with a parking included?
It came with a parking, but the experience was absolutely horrible. I parked my car, had issues with the neighbors, didn't get to see it beforehand. So it was just overall a very negative experience that I really didn't enjoy. And I said to myself, well, I'm parking somewhere else. I don't want to put my car in. Then I went to these corporate lots, and just the rates were just so bad. It was so expensive to put my car there for just a month.
Long term, yeah.
Exactly. Then I started looking around, okay, where can I find parkings? You have your traditional platforms like Idealista, but nothing is very clear. So what I ended up doing was walking around my area and looking at the parking entries. And you just see these papers hanging up with a phone number and says, I have a parking for rent.
I mean, were they out of date? Were they old? Were they
the
badly
papers were
done?
hanging off.
God.
I called 3 people, didn't pick up, call a few more. It says, I already rented it out a year ago. Well, I thought to myself, well, this is horrible. There needs to be a better way to do this.
To be updated.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure I'm not the only one. And that's when I came up with the idea.
And how long ago was this?
Well, the initial idea was about 1.5 years ago. And then obviously the next step after having an idea would be to talk to people, see, is this really worth doing something? I'm doing business management. I should know a little bit.
So you were still studying?
I was still studying.
And when did this idea and this frustration become kind of click in your head and go, I think this could be a scalable business?
I think around 6 months after my initial thought, because really, for you to see that it is scalable, you really need some time. You need to
Of
ask
course.
people. Then I started asking just normal car owners or homeowners, asking, well, would you be willing to do this? I got the feedback. Then I understood, okay, this might not just be me. It could be a lot more people. And then you slowly start developing. You start looking at how do I develop this? Do I do an app? Do I do a website? And day by day, you get a step further to what you want to build.
And when you, I mean, you're 22 now, right? So this was almost when you were 20, 21.
It was yeah.
Did you feel at any point sort of out of your depth, or do you think that was an advantage you used in your favor?
Well, I never really saw age as a thing. I didn't think of myself, oh, I'm 20, 21, and I'm doing this. I just really liked what I was doing. So I didn't really see my age being a problem with that. I think, on the other hand, it actually helped me because I just wanted to do something that I really enjoyed. So never felt that way.
I mean, in simple terms, I know a little bit about it because we spoke about it briefly, but what is Claropark and how does it work?
Claropark essentially is a platform for homeowners who have a parking garage that they're not using, and we facilitate the process of renting it out. And at the same time, we have parking seekers who seek long-term parkings. We connect those two people together.
It's like an idealista for parking.
Or you could say Airbnb for
Or
parking.
Airbnb for parking.
Exactly.
That's actually better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you started off in Barcelona. Have you expanded anywhere else, or you just in
Started off in Madrid.
Madrid? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
our main focus was Madrid. It's the capital. It's the biggest city in Spain, and we're trying to get a foothold in the city essentially. So for us, it was very important that before we try to expand anywhere, we have our operations well done, get good feedback from Madrid only. Because if we don't have Madrid fully secured, we can't really move on before really proving the concept.
Right.
That's what we're doing now, and our eye is on Barcelona next. So
Okay, so from Barcelona, I assume more cities and more places in Spain will be
course.
next. Okay, great. And you found Madrid has been working well for Claropark and for you, and
very well, actually. Yeah,
good.
we have month by month we're growing quite quickly, more and more interest. So we're very happy with how it's going in Madrid right now.
And would you say like the majority of users are people who live there long term, tourists, commuters?
It's about at the moment it's about 90% just homeowners trying to rent out their parking spot. It could be elderly people, people with no cars, and it's just sitting there, and it's passive income that you're missing out on.
And the way you've approached them was you kind of just went up to people, or you had a way of contacting
Started off
them?
with making forms and letting people learn about the product, see what we do. Then they get interested. Some of them you call, some of them you email. And then naturally you start getting this natural content of people finding you on their own. But we're also, right now, we're actually building a new blog on the website, which is for B2B, so for businesses.
Nice.
Building where businesses can upload in bulk all their listings. So we actually have to do less work. We get more supply for less work because we're integrating a way that they can upload it by APIs or CSV, whatever it might be, and letting them do it themselves. So that's something we work on right now.
Very cool.
Spider web. But
And do you think Marbella, I mean, now that you live here now, so do you think that Marbella is a good place for young entrepreneurs?
I certainly think it is, and especially with the change we've been having in the last couple of years.
I mean, you've seen it, right?
I've seen the change. We know a lot of people know Marbella was known for the parties, the luxury yachts,
the golf,
big cars,
the tourism, yeah.
But right now there's a little change coming where young founders or even older founders are coming here and realizing, wow, a lot of people with a serious background from business are coming here for a more relaxed lifestyle, but still being involved fully with trying to build their brand or their business, whatever it may be. And that is definitely why it's such a good place, because it's a lot more relaxed. Big metropolitan cities like Madrid and Barcelona, they're just very hectic. And you have a lot of, let's say, a lot of corporate sides in those big cities, and you feel like you have to copy them because that's what everyone's doing. Here in Marbella, it's the opposite. Everyone's doing something and everyone wants to help each other. So I think that's why it's a very good place for founders.
And I guess that leads to my next question. How would you compare it to your time in Barcelona or Madrid in that sense?
Well, in that sense, since I was still studying, Barcelona had much, let's say,
Different
way more chaotic days because I had my university. At the same time, I'm trying to do the Claropark. so it wasn't as relaxed. And here you really fully relax and focus on what you have to do.
Get
That's
the
where-
best of both worlds.
Exactly.
So what does a typical day-to-day look like for a founder like yourself here?
Well, they vary very much day by day because, as you may know, when a founder and CEO, you're not really just a CEO. You're a little bit of everything.
All the hats.
All the hats, exactly. You do the marketing, a little bit of the designing, even development you have to look at. So day by day varies, but usually it's starting off with the people that work with me, seeing the calls, what do we have to do, what do we have to achieve. Then later on, I usually come here to the pool because it's for me, I like the pool as a place of focus. I know a lot of members here, they like to come here for the whole day and they enjoy it. But for me, I really like to come here for 2-3 hours, set myself some goals, listen, this is what I need to achieve. And the pool allows that perfectly because I have the separate rooms where I can just sit down, it's quiet. And that's where I really do a lot of, let's say, intense work. Not as much creative work for me personally, but to get something done, I really like coming to the pool.
So you come here to kind of smash out your productivity
Exactly.
tasks.
Yeah,
for the
and I
day.
think this place is great for that.
I mean, what would you share has been your toughest challenge so far?
I think it was just proving the concept at first because it takes a lot of time. You'll have a lot of back and forth and a lot of just steps back until you finally make a little breakthrough. You see, okay, finally, it is working. And I think, I wouldn't say I've had one really big issue, but just very small ones every day that you have to manage and get over them. And then you get somewhere eventually.
On its head, what would be your proudest moment with Claropark so far?
My proudest moment, it would probably be when one of my current mentors became my mentors, so to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was a big moment that he actually showed his support for me. Really said, I believe in you and the idea. That's when I realized, okay, this is really something. Because it's not just some mentor. It's really someone in the business world who's been a CEO for many, many years. And that definitely meant a lot to me.
Someone
The
you
same
looked
for
up
my
to.
family
Right.
as well. For my family side, they really support me and they're really trying to help me. So that's been great.
How much has the mentors and advisors in your life played in Claropark, or has it been mostly a solo journey with a lot of advisors or a lot of tips and help here and there?
It's definitely been solo on some part, but I wouldn't say so. I have my family. My family's been in the business world a long time, so I acquired some knowledge that you don't usually get,
Insider info.
basically, so to say. So I learned a lot from them, and it's also we call it, we like spar with each other. So we're talking about ideas. Do you agree? Do you not? And same with my mentor. They really give you a different insight because when you're in your own bubble of startup, you think
Everything's
you know,
great and you're
exactly.
doing things your way and your way is the best way.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have those people around you,
They challenge you.
they challenge you. And it's not that they're trying to change your mind, but they're saying, how can you do it better? And how can you do this more effectively? And that is really a key thing that really helped me, is to think beyond what I already know or think I know, since I'm only just starting out. So in that sense, they
it's
were great.
great
help.
to have that mindset, right? To be very open-minded and be very aware that there's people with more experience and maybe they might know more than you, or maybe they don't, but they have advice from experience that they've done.
Absolutely.
That helps you deal with challenges and problems that you face, right?
Because I'm 22. I don't know everything. I just graduated, only just starting. So yeah, that knowledge is just, there's so much value in it. And being open is what's really important. Not saying, oh, you think you know. It's saying, okay, let me look at what they said and see how I
Some
can
parts
improve.
of it might be useful.
Exactly.
All of it might be useful.
Yeah, you just have to be open to anything.
So where do you see Claropark going in the next 2 to 3 years? Do you think after you've kind of tackled Barcelona and other areas of Spain, you think you're going to be expanding beyond Spain?
Well, we definitely do have plans, but like I said in the beginning, we're trying to put the foothold in Madrid at first. That really to be our key city, and then we're looking at expansion to Barcelona, other big cities in Spain, and if that is successful and it keeps growing, then we're definitely looking at different countries in Europe, such as Italy or maybe France, because they do have the same problem when it comes to not enough space. But there is supply, but it's not being unlocked properly. So in that sense, they're quite similar.
So you mentioned France and Italy. I mean, do places like the Netherlands and Germany have these things already in place? Or
When you're talking about a specific website that allows them to find private monthly parking, there's not one leader, so to say. You have all your different platforms that may provide it, but there's no category leader that only focuses on the monthly private parking. And that's what we're trying to do.
You found that niche.
That's our niche.
Nice.
And that's also our main difference between other big companies. They focus on either hourly or daily bookings or big corporate lots. And we really focus on the homeowners or the small property manager who wants to rent out those spots, make some extra money. And that's really our main key point difference. But what I've seen in my experience, from what I've learned, I think we're going to be a lot more of a joint society, so to say. So we're going to have a lot more shared space together, especially with how we're trying to make everything more electric or more green. And we're trying to get cars off the road, and many countries are trying to do that. But then we'd have to share more space. And we see that now everywhere where buildings have almost everything in one. They have a supermarket, a cafe, and residential buildings. So everything will be more shared. Everything will be better used, so to say. So we actually have to make more use of what we have at the moment, because you can't just build everything new. It's just not doable.
It's not space for it.
Exactly, and there's no space for it. Then at the same time, I think what happened here in Spain not too many months ago with the electricity blackout.
Del apagón.
Yeah, that was quite very intensely. A whole country loses electricity for a day. I think that's a real wake-up call to how the infrastructure is actually put in place, because we don't have a very small percentage of, let's say, cars in Spain are electric, unlike some countries like Netherlands where it's 10 or 15%. So it just showed that our infrastructure is just simply not ready for it. So this idea of that, oh, we're all going electric, no more cars on the road, I think it's a bit further than we expected.
I mean, maybe this is a bit controversial, but electric cars in a country where there's no electricity for a day. If you didn't charge your car that day, you would kind of be stuck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, everyone would be stuck. And so that should be a real wake-up call. At the same time, it might be from, oh, maybe this is not as realistic as we thought to have such an electric grid, because it will take years and years just to be able to run it.
And facilitate places that have the charging points. And I've seen over the last 10 years, random places in the middle of Spain that have like a gas station that's got like 4 charging points. And I'm like, why would an electric car come here?
Exactly.
Where's the next spot after that where they can charge their car, in the middle of these, when you're driving.
So it's more of an idea than real execution.
Okay.
And what if they're in that small spot? Imagine 40 cars at the same time had to charge. You have the biggest mess ever.
Yeah.
So as of my company, I'm not as worried. I think actually it's a good thing that we're going to be having more shared spaces, more electric parkings, because they need to be found somewhere, and I think we're the platform for that.
As someone who's moved to Marbella at 22, balancing this life, what do you do to switch off when you're here?
But that's where we come back to the Marbella thing. It's like you're working, but you're not so focused in your work because you're still in a place like this. It's so open and everything's close to you. They don't really need a switch off. For example, in these big cities, you're just surrounded by it. It's loud, stressful. Here, I think, because it's so much more relaxed, you don't feel the need to actually make time to relax.
What kind of advice do you think you would give to somebody who's planning to start a business? What kind of advice would you have liked to have received?
It's almost the knowing that you're gonna get a lot of backlash for everything you do. So everything's gonna be a step back. You're not gonna be on the winning point from the beginning onwards.
Backlash personally, professionally?
No, just with everything you do, yeah, because you're trying to achieve something, it's not going to work out, then something else is not going to work out, and it just keeps going on and on like that. But if you keep improving those things step by step, and you really take things one piece at a time, and you don't get, let's say, annoyed by that things are not going in your way, I think eventually you can achieve pretty much anything if you just make those small steps day by day. Actually, my grandfather, who has helped me a lot as well, he has a very good quote for that. He said, building a business is like rolling a tiny little snowball on the sunny side of the mountain, and it's melting. So you got to really get it up the hill and get it up there. But once you do have it up there and it falls, there's no stopping it how big it can get. So that's really the mentality I try to keep in mind. Is that pushing that snowball across the hill, and then it will just go.
Mindset. I mean, I think that's a really important aspect of what you're talking about here. Not just don't give up, but I think
it's keep going, just ride the storm, basically.
No matter how many times you get pushed down, right? It's great advice, and I think with this kind of resilience and this kind of mindset that you have, I think you're going to do really great things, Maxim. And I'm very glad that we've met you here and you've come and shared your journey with us. And I really thank you for your time today.
Thank
Really
you very much
appreciate
for
it.
having me. It was really fun.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.